energy storage, allocation, and other significant contribution. So this will be great area. So for the AI in energy, so we is for the energy security and the climate change. Clean energy integrates into the power grid, energy efficiency, and the demand response. So you can see 21st century energy infrastructure. In the right side, you can see distributed energy systems, include the solar, wind, and all the renewables, and also batteries, and have other smart grid technology. In the left side, so we can see the demand side management include energy efficiency, demand response, electric physical charge. So in between, we can see the generation, transmission, distribution, and also we have electric flow, information flow, and the finance flow. The money flow based the electric power market. So this is very complicated infrastructure. However, with the help with the advanced technology like NVIDIA's chips, smart optimal power flow chips, we can implement all the application in the very advanced technology. So additionally, for recent years, the US is want to reach the net zero goal in the 1950. So government have the Inflation Reduction Act invest 369 billion for energy security and climate change to lower energy costs for the consumers and the small business while create the good paid jobs. In California, the place we stay, our goal is get net zero by the 2045. In the United States, additionally, the big companies, they have a climate pledge. So most leading by the Amazon, Microsoft, and so on, they set the goal is net zero carbon by 1940, 10 years earlier. So they plan invest 100 billion for the climate crisis. So to reach this goal, renewable energy play a very important role. For me, like my later 10 years, work the renewable company in the solar companies. We participate 10 years ago, US-China Clean Energy Practical Cooperation Strategy Forums in Washington, D.C. And also you can see the right corner is the electric power plant run by solar. That was my company, developed the solar panels. That is VW, the car manufacturing, the solar power plant. So I will introduce my second part of presentation regarding the nonprofit organization. So IEEE Smart Village China Working Group, till now, we found this organization right now about 5 years. So most the target is green sustainable development. So have a 3-part education and conference marketing and the smart village project. So this is the 5 years ago in 2018, I was the, Silicon Valley woman, the president. So we donate 15 kilowatt solar project to the school in the Silicon Valley Women's Xinxin School in the Sichuan Nanjiang, the big mountain. From the picture, you can see the school, the roof has the solar panels. The background is the mountain. So the students are really happy and they want to be learn the knowledge and they want training by the electric power, learn the solar business and be the technician or engineering to build their hometown. So our education programs most start from 2020 during the pandemic. So most people cannot travel, cannot visit village. So we, have the online education course. You see each window is one classroom in the remote mountain. Students are really happy. So because they can see in their classroom, see the China, see the United States, see the world, and they learn the knowledge also. So we teaching them what's the solar, what's the electric car, and the other. This is the new technology, robot. Additionally, teaching them hands-on experience like the bake the cakes, bake the bread, and so on. So we will continue this program. I hope everybody can join us, be the teacher, and help our children in the remote area. Additionally, we organize the webinars. You can see this is 2020. We organize continually 8 webinars, invite significant famous professors in the UC Berkeley, Stanford University, Tsinghua University, and the government and the nonprofit and all the different areas. So we organize many conference. You can see this is before pandemic in the Chongqing University. And after then we have the conference in Beijing, Taiyuan, and other area. So marketing is important. We need our word go to the world. So last introduction is regarding smart village project. So every project we require is green sustainable development. This is not research project, not charity project. However, we would help the village use the advanced technology and through the education and the entrepreneurship development. Our first project is in Shanxi, and this is for the solar heating and also generate electricity for the residential. You can see this was last year, a smart village chair, Range Cooper, and we visit, you can see the solar panels in the roof and also provide the heating for the whole house. So our second project in Northeast China, this is the Heilongjiang area. This is a big warehouse, and in the roof, we build solar and provide energy. Additionally, this energy will supply to this warehouse, also can raise the goose, chicken, and other agricultural product. So to make additional income, make the project sustainable. Our last project we introduced in Gansu province, that is remote area near the Tibet. So all the special situation in this village is the people is most raise the cow and the animals. They will run from this place and after then they move to other place. So they cannot fix the stay in the one location. So our solution is a microgrid solution, use advanced technology, provide the solar electricity and help them. So this microgrid is like kind of, can moving electric generation and use the solar power. So eventually they want to use this solar power to provide energy for the phones, computers, and also, make some product to sell to the other, to the market. Okay, thank you very much. This my presentation is happy to join in the International Women's Day for our webinar.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zhang. We appreciate your time and your wonderful efforts in China. One of the things I've always said about ISV China is that they kind of attract superstar people. Like the last conference they had in November, they had a Nobel laureate among the speakers. So thank you so much for your wonderful work. Please, if you have any questions for Ms. Zhang, kindly type them in the question and answer section. She's going to answer them during the Q&A part of this meeting. We're going to go straight on to the next speaker, who is Professor Mary Longe. She's an associate professor at the University of Johannesburg in South Africa, and she's also the chair of the Smart Power and Energy Systems Research Group in the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering Science at the University of Johannesburg. She's received a PhD, or rather DEng, from the University of Johannesburg, and MEng and BEng from Federal University of Technology in Accra, Nigeria. She's the founder of the very first IEEE Smart Village student branch at the University of Johannesburg. In 2021, she's published more than 50 papers, and her research interests include renewable energy technologies, intelligent power and energy systems 4.0, electromobility, energy poverty, demand-side management, distributed energy generation and storage, and smart energy management. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome our next distinguished speaker, Professor Longe from University of Johannesburg. Professor, you have the stage now. You can please share your screen.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to every one of us from wherever we may be joining this webinar. I would like to appreciate the IEEE Smart Village for inviting me to be part of the International Women's Day celebration for the year 2024 under the theme highlighting the impact of women in sustainable development. Yes, as Dr. Oluleke has said, I'm an associate professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering Science at University of Johannesburg in South Africa. Within the IEEE, I have served as Vice Chair of PES Women in Power Executive for 2022. I had served as Chair of Education Committee also for IEEE Smart Village Africa Working Group in 2022. I served also as Secretary of Education Committee at IEEE Smart Village, also Africa Working Group in 2020-2021. And by the grace of God, I was also able to found the first ISV student branch in the world, even as Dr. Leleke also has said. I am also a senior member of IEEE and also the South African Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. I've also served as a member in 2022 also of PES Diversity and Inclusion Committee and also the PES LROP Education Committee. So my life has been much about education there. I think it's because that's one of my strongest passion. I love education with my whole heart, and it's anything that goes that line usually triggers some kind of opening within me. So I will be sharing along this outline today. So yes, the United Nations already had declared International Women's Day, and it gave the theme of investing in women accelerate my progress. However, we as ISV, we are meeting here, though they are meeting somewhere else. Okay, so now I titled this slide, My International Women's Day. Just trying to share a bit of my journey from when I was like a small girl, and from there to when I was in the university in my undergraduate days. Yes, we were just 3 girls in the midst of about 50, in a class of about 55. And then, you know, as time goes on, you begin to assume mother roles. So in this place, I was playing with my son, who wants to who likes playing with medical toys. So I got one from him. So I decided to play along with him. And then different phases of life. And then, yeah, working in my studio, in my lab during my PhD. And at last, in 2017, I obtained my PhD from the University of Johannesburg. What I want to say is that through all these different phases of life, different things have always happened. But one thing that I have tried to do in everything that comes my way is to remain focused, on my aim for being where I am, on my aim for being who I want to become. So the picture of what I want to be in the future, it drives me, it keeps me focused, irrespective of whatever challenge that I face. I remember one of those days in the undergraduate days, and I tried to answer a question in the class, and a guy looked back and said that, no, I shouldn't answer a question in the class. If I want to prove that I am good, I should. He proposed one department to me, economics or whatever. That's where women who are good are. But despite what he said, I just listened. I just kept quiet, That did not make me feel like I wasn't ever going to be what I want to be. That didn't make me to come out of engineering, because I had a dream of what I want to be. So whatever anybody says in all along, I try to not allow distractions. So therefore, I want each one of us, especially for the younger ones who are on the call today, to try to make every day an international day for them. That is, try to make it special. Make every day you live special, as you live it in line with your dream for your future. So you live with a purpose. You live with not allowing obstacles or challenges to debar you. You just know what you want, and then you just go for it. So talking about sustainability of men in the engineering classes, we have discovered that, like, when in my time, this is a picture of part of my class, though when they shared the picture, they didn't show me in the picture. I don't know where I was that day. However, so in 2021, this was my part of my class, because this is not all of us. So, but we were just 5% of us were women then, because we're just 3 girls in the midst of 55 boys. But now, 2019 at UJ, where I teach, so we have increased number of women who have come to study engineering. So things actually are changing, and we need to keep the tempo of the way we are having more women represented in engineering classes. So, however, when we look at in the South African scenario, I believe most countries also are like this, categorizing people who are in the engineering profession as engineers, engineering technologists, technicians, and also the certified engineers. So we discovered that the women is always in the least number in all categories of engineering professionals. And if you look at it, and this figure shows that we still have some much work to do, especially when it comes to Africa, in this area of gender parity in the engineering discipline. So some of the challenges that through a survey that we conducted some years ago, that the students said it's affecting them in engineering discipline, has to be with some of them, they don't know what they can make out of the profession. Some people come to study engineering just because I had good grades in maths in high school, but having just good grades in maths in high school doesn't really mean you must study engineering. Though it could be, it could surely help you, of course, as we all know. But however, it doesn't mean you must study engineering. So the fear of the unknown, some people, parental influence, some people that think, oh, everything in engineering must be done with muscle, big power. You must be able to, but it's not everything in engineering that is like that. So some of them feel, okay, when they want to get a job, people are going to discriminate against them. Even myself, I remember when I was to study engineering, my daddy fought me because of this. He said, no, how will you study engineering of all courses? No, no, no. I don't want to waste time to send you to school. And then when you graduate, you cannot get a job just because you are a woman, not because you failed. So there's this discrimination in the market that people just feel, oh, this one, no, it's a man that's going to do it for me, not a woman, because it's an engineering my job. So leadership opportunities, some people feel like, okay, no matter what they do, nobody's going to recognize them and give them the opportunity to lead, even if they have put in their very, very best into it. And also, and surely some also feel that sexual harassment may be another issue because you're dominated, you're surrounded by men all the time. So it's maybe easy for them to sexually harass you. So in this study, we discovered that a lot of these students, because this survey was carried among the female engineering students in the faculty, and most of them were of the opinion that if they were given equal opportunity like their male counterparts, it will help them better. And also both in the class and also in the workplace. If they are sure of that equal opportunity, it's going to be a long way, and there's no space for discrimination. So now coming to the workplace, I want to encourage everyone that we have to do our own in every way to sustain women working in engineering workplaces. Women should be encouraged to work. There shouldn't be things, obstacles on their way of becoming, because especially in the African setting, you know, the African setting is highly patriarchal, and whereby the same woman that was in the office is the same one not at home. She's the same person in the kitchen. She's the same person in the class. She's the same person to answer to a consultant. She's the same person to attend to her in-laws. She's the person who is pregnant, who is nursing a child, and so on and so forth. So much tax is all upon the woman. However, it's essential that we'll see that we strive towards sustaining women representation in the engineering workplaces. And we see that in South Africa, the percentage of the this challenge, as you can see from this graph, that in all undergraduate in enrollments, this is across the country. Though my university, we don't have this representation of 54% in a class being in an undergraduate class being female. So we don't have that in my university. Also, but this is a national survey. So 54% undergraduates. When it comes to candidate, means that after they finish the fourth year. So between my first year and fourth year, there's already the loss of more than half of the people that began the program. And then when you come to people who are actually practicing, women engineer practicing after graduation, you will see that the percentage even dropped further. You can see from 23% to 6%. So even this 6%, how do we retain them? How do we keep the woman still in engineering? This 6% that wants to practice engineering. But what can we do to see that we keep even the 54 that resumes with so much excitement in the first year, and keep them up to graduation, and also into practicing as professional female engineers. So this report was shared by the Society of Women Engineers in the US. You see that even among STEM fields, even in the US too, not only in South Africa, we also have similar experiences where we have list representations also coming from the architecture and engineering fields. And even within the engineering fields, the electrical engineers are still the least represented, employed within the engineering occupation. It shows that our field, the field of electrical engineering, we really need to do much more to sustain more women participation, more women practicing engineering. And therefore, for me to sustain, I also see sustainability in the way of how I throw myself into the next generation. So, and one thing is that I am someone that, like I said, I love education. So if I see any of my students showing very good interest in doing certain things, I try to encourage them and push them, support them in any way that I can. This paper was written by one of my first year students. I taught them a module called project communication, and they all took on various types of projects, and they were to write reports on the project that they carried out. And I saw that this guy did exceptionally well in the work that he did, and it was very. And I said, okay, I was going to encourage him by polishing the report and then publishing the work. And here, my second year student in the first year, okay, when this guy was doing LIG literacy, this lady, she was doing autonomous car. However, in the first year, that car did not work. That's why I want to bring a story up, but she did not give it up on that mission. So she began in the first year in developing the software for it. So then in the second year, she told me, no, that this project is really a passion in her and she would like to actually take it further. I said, it's fine. So second year, she advanced and actually built the car, and the car could move around as you direct it. You wanted to go left, right, and so on. And she was quite happy about it. And for my fourth year students, so we have this issue in my campus. We are a university of 4 campuses. So we always have to transit students from one campus to the other every day. So, and I also grew up in this environment, so I knew the stress of when you queue on this, you stay on this queue sometimes for 1 hour, 2 hours, you're waiting for the bus that will take you to the campus that you are going, or to your residence or to wherever, and then you're tired. So then I shared this vision with some of my students. I said, okay, let's design inter-campus electric bicycles so that instead of not everybody needs to wait on this queue, let's develop a kind of inter-campus solution. And then so I put together about 20 students to work on this project. Some of them work on the conversion of the manual bicycle to electric bicycles, and why the others just worked on the electric that we bought as electric. So because we wanted all the fleets to be electric bicycles. So we developed the hub so the students can therefore, instead of staying on this queue, they can book from the hub. I want to go from APK campus to APB, or from APB to Soweto, or from Soweto to Auckland Park, and so on. You can book, and then it's there. So this other project here was one of my students down here, down bottom left. Okay, so that's here also, we're also trying to see, we have so many speed bumps in town. And sometimes there's what we call load shedding here in South Africa, whereby there's no electricity. And then as such, that especially in the night, there's security concerns. So we thought of, okay, how we can convert those speed bumps also into energy generation stations, whereby the energy generators also could help in supplying at least light to the street lights, even if there's load shedding, people could see, and then their life also could be saved. Then also I have a research group, the Smart Power and Energy Systems Research Group. These are some of my students, master's, doctorate, and a postdoc. Not everybody could be with us in this picture. So so usually anyway, we always have few women. So even at a postgraduate level, I just had one female student that is okay. We had two. One is graduating this year. So we hope to keep the same field. You understand? So we work on diverse areas of work that is in this space, enable communications, DSM, electromobility, optimizations, and distributed energy across generation, storage, and consumption. So also in sustaining the next generation, in looking at sustainability from the area of generation, I also like to share my story with our IEEE Smart Village Student Branch as UJ, which was officially launched on May 25, 2021. We started with 107 students, because ISV is free of charge, so it was easy for as many students to join. And that crossed undergraduate, postgraduate, and the postdoc students. We started with two counselors, myself and Estrom. However, Estrom left UJ, so we brought in a new person now. She joined us since last year, Dr. Lutendo. We have an industry counselor from CEL, and officially last year, our student branch grew from just being an ISV student branch to be an official IEEE student branch under the leadership of our former SB chair, who was Taban Molen. So it was. This is part of the students. We're about to set out for a field trip this day. This was when we were still ISV, thanks to the leadership of ISV under the leader of the time of John Nelson. They gave us money for these T-shirts and caps, which we distributed freely to the students. And so this just some of we also took them out another time. You can see it was winter, but we moved. So we went to ESCOM, a renewable plant here. And why I tried to take the students out is that so that some of the things they are learning also in class will be more practical to them. So yeah, we went to a lighting company where they design different type of lights for different type of purposes. And in fact, I saw the secrets of so many lights when we went to this company, which also gave birth, which also supported one of my student work because he is using solar powered lights to control heart rates, which therefore can help people with high blood pressure or people who are under anxiety to calm down. It was a great experience for us. Yeah, I was speaking with the outgoing leadership of the IEEE. This is Taban, is the one standing by the pull-up banner there. So here, so part of sustainability, I'm glad that we are able to have the first female chair of our SB. She's the current chair now. This was the handing over last year, November, before the school closed for the year. So now we are having a woman as our SB chair, which is a good thing. I long for, and I was glad to see it come to pass. So also being the new SB, so we invited the section chair, Dr. Akuru, to come and give leadership training to the new and outgoing executives. So he came, and it was a nice, it was a wonderful occasion, and this section gave us money for the event, for their food, for the gifts, and so on. So as I close, I would like to say that let's break this stereotype. Be a role model wherever you are, in your corner, small or big. Let's all just be consistent. Let's be our sister's keeper. Let's be there to see that we support one another to ensure that our goal of being women in engineering is sustained over the years, and we grow as we sustain. So, but this can only happen when we invest in women. So invest in the female girl around you, invest in the female professional beside you, invest in your senior, your junior, and so on. Let's invest in one another to see that we help one another to be who we ought to be. You understand? And I believe as we do that, we will be in a better space in 10 years to come, 5 years to come, 50 years to come, and so on. Hopefully then we would have reached 50% women participation in engineering in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Longe. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for your passion. Professor Longe has explained a lot of things about impact in developing the next generation of engineers in South Africa in particular, and we appreciate your wonderful work. Audience, I want to apologize because it seemed like that presentation was almost like 2 times the initial scheduled time for it. But I understand Professor Longe's passion. So the next speaker, let's go straight on to the next speaker. Would you please put up the profile for the next speaker? I think it's easier for everybody to follow that way. Okay, okay, while we wait for that to be put up, let me read it from here. Dr. Crystal Mogensen is originally from the United Kingdom, and during her studies, she undertook research in the Masai Mara from 2007 to 2014. And she began her engagement with the Ma Trust in January 2015. She has lived in the Masai Mara full-time since 2011, so for the past 13 years, and she's now the CEO of the Ma Trust. For her undergraduate studies, she assessed the environmental impact of tourism inside the Masai Mara National Reserve, and then for her master's, she examined the definition of ecotourism and the extent to which conservancies conform. For her PhD, she went on to investigate how development is defined within the Mara and the extent to which conservancies contributes. This PhD formed the research basis for many development interventions undertaken by the Ma Trust, and she's living her dream, implementing her research findings and realizing sustainable impact in the community in Kenya. And interestingly, she met her husband, Niels, who works for the Mara Predator Conservation Program in the Masai Mara, where they're now raising their son and daughter. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Dr. Mogensen, who's going to talk about her impact in Kenya for the past 13 years. So doctor, you've got the platform now. You can speak. Hello, doctor. We can hear you.
Yes.
Well, we can.
Set up. Okay. Can you see the screen okay?
Yes, it's perfect.
Thank you for that introduction. So as you said, my name is Dr. Crystal Mogensen, and I live here in the Masai Mara in Kenya. And I have a 3-year-old son and an almost 1-year-old daughter. So for this presentation, I thought it was important to first look at what sustainable development actually is and what it means. So as part of my master's and my PhD, I was looking at what it means in this area. And I would argue that for sustainable development, you need 4 components. So there is economic sustainability, social sustainability, environmental sustainability, and also cultural sustainability. So economic is obviously the enhancement of income generation, and this can be through either entrepreneurship or business development. Social sustainability is the advancement of basic needs, especially in terms of education, healthcare, and gender equality. Environmental sustainability is the promotion of conservation, and it's just leaving the environment in a better condition than we found it ourselves. Cultural sustainability might be a new one for some. This can also be called ethno-development. So cultural sustainability is when we conserve the indigenous culture through the promotion of traditional practices, and we ensure there is cultural sensitivity. So for example, we can't take a project that works very well in downtown New York and bring it here to the rural Masai Mara. We need to make sure that anything that's being done in this area is culturally sensitive to the specific locale. So when I thought about what is the greatest impact on sustainable development here in the Masai Mara, what I came to was the empowerment of women. If we think back to those 4 areas, the women are the entrepreneurs in Maasai society. They're also the ones responsible for environmental degradation, especially deforestation for firewood. And so they are the ones who can change that. They're the culture holders, especially in terms of language, clothing, and the traditional practices. And as always, the women are the glue holding society and families together. I have this quote up on my wall in the office, so I thought it was nice to share it. A woman is the full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. Women face a hard time here in Kenya, and especially in the Masai Mara. So the women are responsible for collecting the water, for collecting firewood, for looking after the children, for looking after the sheep, the goats, the livestock. Women, the vast majority of responsibilities fall on the women. So at the Ma Trust, we're trying to have a holistic approach to empowering the girls and the women, and this is done through 6 components: education and child rights, water and health, sustainable livelihoods, and capacity building. And I'll now very quickly just skim through each of those, how we're trying to work with women and girls. So in terms of education, we construct early childhood development education schools. So this is for children from 3 to 8 years old. We have tertiary scholarships, including for solar technicians. And we also do IT training in our ISV Pat Ryan IT hub. So here, these photos on the left, you see children studying under the tree. This was 1 year ago. And then 1 year later, they're in brand new classrooms, looking very smart in uniforms with trained teachers. It's amazing the power that shade can provide so that children don't need to clothe school when it rains or when the sun is too strong. Children, especially girls in the Masai Mara, face child rights violations, especially harmful cultural practices, and this often leads to girls dropping out of school. So specific challenges that we have are female genital mutilation, child marriage, child pregnancy, and child labor. This photo on the left is a 12-year-old girl on her wedding day as she's leaving her parents' homestead. On the right, we have photos from the alternative rites of passage that we do. What we've realized is that female genital mutilation, which is shortened to FGM, it's a real fork in the road in a girl's life. So if a girl goes through FGM, she's then eligible to be married. It's socially acceptable for her to be sexually active, and she gets pregnant and drops out of school. So if she doesn't go through female genital mutilation, she can continue with her education and have a completely different future in her life. So this alternative rites of passage that we do is an alternative to FGM. So girls between 8 and 12 come through this residential program where they learn what it is to be a Maasai woman, but without being cut. And at the end, there's a huge celebration with their family and community members, and they get a traditional and a religious blessing for becoming a woman, but without being cut. In terms of water, as I mentioned, it's a woman's responsibility to collect the water. And so having water closer to the homestead really is a benefit for them in terms of the amount of time that they spend. And it's also important that they get access to safe drinking water. So the photo here with the goats behind the iron sheet roof is 1,800 square meters, collecting rainwater going into a 600,000 litre tank. And then the photo on the right is a lady collecting the water from a cashless kiosk at one of these projects. So each family have a chip coin. It's similar to what you get when you go into some parking lots. And so they tap that chip coin on that silver box, and then they mark which tap they're collecting water from. And they pay 2 US cents for filling their jerry can of water with 20 liters. So this means that there's money in a bank account, so that if there's any small maintenance needed, they don't need to then go and start raising money. There is money ready there for maintenance, which helps in the long-term sustainability of the project. It's also important to look at toilet construction if you're wanting to improve healthcare outcomes by providing safe drinking water, because if people are still defecating in the open, you're not going to see that outcome that you expect. In this area, only 13% of homesteads have a toilet. So we're implementing the community-led total sanitation program, which is a Kenyan government program to encourage every homestead to build a toilet. And we've also trained 3 groups of ladies who are tailors how to make reusable sanitary pads and reusable nappies. So now in terms of sustainable livelihoods, we have 2 in-house social enterprises. This is beadwork and beekeeping. We've trained youth and women in soap making, mushroom farming, and kitchen gardens. And we also do entrepreneurship training. As I mentioned, the women are the entrepreneurs in Maasai society. So even if they're completely illiterate, many women have some little business that they do at home. So we implement the Street Business School program, which is a 6-month training program. Even if you can't read and write, you can come on this program. And at the end of the day, we have a graduation celebration. And for a lady who's never had a single certificate to her name before, it's a very proud day. And we've seen a 310% increase in profit margin for any ladies coming through this business training. It is open to men as well, but what we've seen is over 95% of the community members who want to receive this entrepreneurship training are women. All of these enterprises that I've talked about are solar powered. We're completely off-grid here. And then finally, capacity building. So we are working with 1,236 women in women's groups to train them in microfinance. So that's table banking within their own groups, as well as access to Women's Enterprise Fund and other national programs. And last year, but one, in 2022, we started the Women in Leadership program. So this identifies aspiring leaders from within the community, and they've designed their own leadership program on how we can help women to have their voice heard within society and how they can then pass this on to other women. So, for example, they've gone through training in social norms, cultural issues, including FGM, for example, gender-based violence, economic empowerment, and also rights of women when it comes to becoming a widow and what your legal rights are. So as an example, after this training, there was one lady went back to her village, and then she saw that the chief of the area was telling a widow that she didn't have the right to own land when her husband died. But having gone through the training, the Women in Leadership member realized that this wasn't correct. So she called the Land Control Board, who came down and found that the chief had stolen land from 5 different widows. And so the land was rightfully returned to the widows. So just by these women being empowered about what their rights are, and then going and educating other women about this, we can then start to try and get gender equality within the community. So thinking through what is the ultimate goal for what we're doing, and I would trace this back to true sustainability. In other words, we're trying to get ourselves out of a job. We're looking to a future where our presence and our support is no longer needed. What we want is empowered communities that are self-reliant and independent. If we're measuring success, that should look like the community no longer needing our support, because they'll have their own knowledge, skills, and resources to deal with this themselves. So if you'd like to learn any more about what we do, this is our website, themartrust.org, and our 2022 annual report has just come out and is available on the website.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mogensen. Thank you so much. She's been a member of the IEEE Smart Village for more than 10 years now. And I remember meeting her, and I really respect the work she's doing, living a comfortable home in the United Kingdom to live in Kenya for over a decade to just make impact. That's really inspiring to me. Thank you for your sacrifice. And that's also an inspiring talk as well. So audience, please, if you have questions, we're going to go into questions and answers. We just have one more speaker. Ms. Xia Li is going to speak next. And after she's done, we'll be able to take your questions, and the speakers, our distinguished speakers, will answer you. So I'm going to introduce, so thank you once again, Dr. Crystal, for that beautiful presentation. We appreciate it. We're going to take the next speaker now, Ms. Xia Li, could you please put up her profile? I'll also read from here. She's the founder and CEO of Shenzhen Power Solution Industry Company Limited, a social enterprise that she has been leading for the past 15 years. The organization's mission is to improve the quality of life of local community in undeveloped areas by providing solar energy products and clean energy power solutions, mainly in sub-Saharan Africa. Ms. Li has extensive experience in the African market and focuses on sustainable development for underdeveloped community. She was awarded the Schwab Foundation 2024 Award for Social Entrepreneurship Social Entrepreneur and the 2022 Annual for Good Entrepreneur Award, the 2018 Asian Development Bank New Energy Leader, and she led the company to be awarded the China Gold Social Enterprise Award. So, in summary, she's passionate and dedicated to empowering local communities with the benefit of sustainable development. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to bring up Ms. Xia Li to speak to us now. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Doctor. Thanks for IEEE's invitation to share my experience, which we have done last 15 years in Africa. So I was a little bit from different background. Actually, I'm the social entrepreneur. So I actually just celebrate my company's 20 years anniversary. My first business is working for developed countries for the branding companies by promotional and gifts business. So my first business giving me the saving and the bucket of gold to invest in my second business 15 years ago. So my business is Empower Africa with Dream. With Dream means when I started 15 years ago, nobody trusted I can make this company survive and sustainable. So I'm the founder of this company, starting with a mission. I want to empower the less villaged people by green energy, by solar solutions. So first of all, happy Women's Day to all of the women entrepreneurs today, and also to the women in the world. So as a woman entrepreneur, we always facing different challenges. We want to raise up our children healthily and happily. We also want to do our social works. We also want to raise up our companies. I'm also a mom of 3 children, and the eldest one is 9 years old, and the youngest one is 3 years old. And I often travel to Africa, and my work is for accessing of energy by solar solutions, empower rural electrification, who is fully off grid today. And just now, Dr. Crystal introduced about Masai Mara. That is also an area which I'm also covering to access of energy. And I have a story with a mom of 3 children in Africa. Actually, many moms with African moms. So I don't remember which year, maybe 2018, I signed the agreement and joined the UN Women Principles for Empowerment of Women. So that's how our solar energy empower women in rural electrification by accessing of more jobs or empower them more with knowledge. And I was very challenged during the COVID situation in 2020. Because at that time I was 39 years old and the pregnancy with my 3rd baby. And at the same time, my company is also facing a big challenge because China is fully stopped. We can not open the factory, but every day we need to pay about 130 workers salary. But 50% of more than 50% of our employees women. We cannot stop to pay because they are also the major power to raise up their families. So Dr. Crystal, this is also the picture from Masai Mara, which I took, I think maybe 2017 or 2016, I cannot remember which year, but this is their independent house. It's just by some trees, leaves, and also some waste of coal. So they are fully off grid, and we just offer them the solar solutions for accessing energies. So actually, African community in the off-grid areas need easy to access clean energy, and we think solar is the answer. So that is my entrepreneur experience. Last 15 years, I have done only one thing, providing clean and sustainable and affordable electricity to the BOP. But we are not doing charity. We are not a non-profit organization, and we are the social enterprise. So when we discuss about the enterprise, means you have to be sustainable, financially healthy. So I will introduce how I achieve this goal with my real solutions and make the people to buy our solutions. And the next 10 years, we want to focus on future localization of African. Means we want to do the localization distribution, but also localization manufacturers. So why we decided to be deeply to develop the market? Because we trust the rural electrification in Africa has to be accessed by solar only. Because today, if you check the solar panel cost and also the battery storage cost in China is really decreased. Before, when we say the cost of the affordable energy is here and the Africa affordability is here, but now because the decrease is coming, the gap is trying to reduce. So if the energy in the rural Africa is by solar, is by DC battery. So what I trust is in the future, the home appliances has to be DC also. So what I trust is the direct current TV, fan, fridge, freezer will be popular in Africa in the future. So there is a big market potential, but the only challenge is who can design the right products and the right business model, working with the right partners to develop this market together. So if in the conclusion, how we can be succeed in the last 20 years, I make a summary is concentration. So we are very focusing on working for bottom of a pyramid population. So when you are very focusing means their challenge is only affordability, durability, and practical. So what they need is, and then the second is down to the earth. I really visit a lot of field by myself, even my team also. So we want to understand how the users interface, how the users affordability, how the features and the functions should be meet the user's need. I will give example later. And then we are very integrated and innovative. So we keep update our solutions and with a new technology, also new business model, and also the new resources. So I will give an example now is, for example, this is our solar light. I called it a candle killer. So it's very easy to understand because not everybody understands what is kerosene, except Crystal, who is working in Masamala, and you see the people is really using the kerosene lamp. But candles, everybody is understanding European, USA, even China. Candles now is romantic. It's not using as lighting, it's using as romantic. So, but in Africa, people still rely on this for lighting. So I name it candle killer because the price is really affordable. We make it a retail price is $5, but lifespan is 5 years. That means $1 1 year for free and clean energy. But $1 means what? Means they will spend 1 month kerosene cost is $1 to $1.5. So $1 kerosene cost, they can use a free, clean, and safer energy, solar energy for 1 year. So how we achieve this? If you open the products, you can see it's only 9 parts for the whole products, including 1 screw. So, and the stand, we reduce the first version is 6 screws. So that's why we just now I expressed we keep innovation. It's not day one, the candle scaler is like this. This is already our 3rd version. The first version, the stand is about 13.5 centimeters, and the screw is about 6, and the unit is bigger. So we keep updating, we keep innovation. We found the bottles is available in the rural remote because people really like Coca-Cola. They don't have nothing to make themselves happy. If I don't go to the field study, I never understand how people can find a bottle if they cannot even have a clean water. But when I go to the field study, I find, oh, the bottle is available. The Coca-Cola is really amazing company. They can really deliver to the last mile and people buy. So I reused the bottle as a stand by a small innovation, a hook, which you can see in this picture. And then I cut the stand from 13.5 centimeters to 6 meters only. So it's not only saving the cost of the material, but it's a big saving of the transportation logistics People not going to Africa never understand the last mile maybe by donkey, by shoulder, by many different ways. So it's really challenging, and the cost is really expensive, logistics and the material itself. So that is how we design the products. We use the 3R concept. We call it reduced. That means you use less material. Reuse. That means if you can find anything available. And replace. If you open our products, you can see the battery is just a clip and clack. So it's really easy to replace the batteries when the lifespan of some material is coming to the end. So to replace the parts, to make extension of the products, make it more sustainable and saving the environment. So that is just one product example, how we keep innovation, how we make it affordable, and how we are going to down to the earth. We go to the field study to understand about the users. And after I becoming a mom, actually I have my kids very late on my age. So after I became a mom, I start to understand, especially this COVID situation, I start to understand the last mile of empowerment of digitalization is really important. The teacher in the schools is less educated, or even the pronunciation is not really accurate. And children is getting less knowledge about how the outside world is. Another thing is about sanitary. So there are so many United Nations organizations making a lot of materials and promotional contents. For example, how to reduce Ebola, how to avoid AIDS, or how to reduce COVID. But the farmers or the last mile people who really need to see these contents, they never see. They don't have any electricity, no TV, nothing. How they get access of these contents? So I see so many challenges, and then I decided, okay, let me innovate. A solution is a solar home lighting system with a 7-inch screen, which you can see here. This is digitalization. Yes, it's a little bit traditional. It's not like a very high class. It's not touchpad. It's not internet. It's not interactive. But we put a lot of contents inside, like skills or like healthcare or like government materials and like school educations. So people really empowered and learn. They get incomes. They know how to irrigation better. They know how to kill insects better. So they get their productivities increased. And in China, we have a word is, instead of giving man a fish, you should teach them how to fishing. So I think solar media, the device is called solar media. Solar media somehow is my target is teaching, is fishing. So we already have done a lot of pilots. If you can search on YouTube or Google, you can find the feedback about pilots, how people learn and empowered. So as an enterprises, we have to work internationally. We have to follow international goals, SDG 17 goals, so we can leverage and working with the different partners to make our job is more easier and to make the common language to make people understand easier, so we can have more resources and partnerships. So we develop our products to follow the SDG. For example, candle scaler is SDG 7, solar media is SDG 4 for quality education. So we develop a series of products starting from the small home lighting system to the solar home appliances like TV, fan, fridge, and freezer, to the solar media light up mind. And then now we are also making the kilowatts system, who is power on fridge, freezer for saving the food cost, food waste. And after working 15 years, mainly our distributors is in 66 countries. We have more than 100 dealers. And but most of them is well-known local brands. For example, the top brand in Ethiopia, top brand in Kenya, top brand in Rwanda, and top brand in Nigeria, for example. But we're also working with the top 500 companies like Total Energy. We started with the Total Energies in 2020, already nearly 4 years, because we want to, they work with us. The partnership is to meet their ESG commitment. We are also discussing with the other top 500 companies. And we also did a lot of UN projects. Working with all these people, we already reached more than 70 million people access of energy in the last mile in off-grid. And we reduced more than 6 million tons of carbon emission. And this year we have a good news because as a small social enterprises, we always want to work with the big gorillas. Means the solar panel or the battery is becoming 40% of our cost. So we always want to convince the big brand, but before we cannot. Means people feel us is not known, and we are not really transparent and famous. But this year, because I get awarded by SWAP Foundation in World Economic Forum, and I was invited to the forum and get awarded in the forum. So we are somehow becoming little transparent and more famous in China because we are the only one in China. And so we leverage this award to discuss with Longe, the #1 brand in the world for solar panel, and also to realize their ESG commitment. And we get first resources of cost and also sustainable quality and sustainable supply. So which bring down our cost. Now we also discuss with some battery suppliers, the top brand, the battery suppliers. We want to try to reduce our cost either. And we also get our first impact investor in 2022 after we doing this work more than 12 years. So the first impact investors help us to enter into the market in a scale way. But before that, we are very sustainable and we are profitable. So to work with all these different partners, and we get really international impact. So we were invited to share our experience in COP27, COP28, or World Bank Economic Forum, World Bank Forum, and also the World Bank and IFC Latin Global team visited our factories. So in China, we are somehow a little bit sustainable and succeed is because we leverage Chinese supply chain. But in China, small middle enterprises like us who can speak good English and also express ourselves experience well, how we can make the product a success and design a product and leverage Chinese supply chain is a little bit few people. So I also speak a lot because I also want to share my experience and to show to the world. So if you work on your own, on the truly business model, even for a social mission, it could be possible. It could be successful. And these are some pictures which we speak in different conferences, international conferences. And our future plan in the next 10 years is, as explained, is localization of industrialization in Africa. We want to leverage China manufacturing experience or the technology experience and the solar and the battery top experience to help Africa really industry grow. That means if you landed in Africa, the cost of the material is cheaper, and then you get a job employment for these people. They get learned and they get technologies and also reduce the cost and easily to build up ecosystem in the future. So we already signed an MOU agreement with the local enterprises in Ethiopia, and we try to finish the joint venture manufacture by the end of 2024. So this is also our first experience to try. Well, what makes me make a big decision as an investor to invest in Africa localization in the long term is because of which we see the potential market of the solar home appliances plus the DC home appliances has 10 billion marketing share in the future. Market size data is given by World Bank, and it says 10 billion market share by 2030. So somehow we're already working for this population in the off-grid 15 years. We trust we could be succeed in the future and to bring the green energy and DC home appliances, solar solutions to empower the rural electrification Africa. So finally, as a dream driver, I will stick to moving forward until nobody is talking BOP, no excess of energy. I hope everybody will enjoy clean and green energy and the modern life, and DC appliances enjoy their life on the same level. So these pictures is which I took from different of our users on our field study. So you can see how people smell after they get this light. It's not only lighting up their life, it's also lighting up their mind, it's also lighting up their home. So I want to join hand with the different partners to empower low-income people in off-grid areas with green energy together to build a clean and beautiful world together. So I leave my email address and my homepage, home website here. If you want to learn more, you can get connected with me. And also you can get me connected in LinkedIn. Thank you. Thank you all, Doctor. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was an inspiring close. That was indeed inspiring. And we really appreciate you, Ms. Li, for that inspiring talk. We appreciate your wonderful work in sustainable development. And we appreciate the fact that you're also passionate about one of the things that everybody that has spoken today, all the women who have spoken today have in common is the passion for the respective things they do. From Ms. Zhang to Professor Longe to Dr. Mogensen to Ms. Li, we can see the passion, we can see the selflessness and the sacrificial commitment to whatever they are doing. And it's really inspiring. I'm also inspired by the things you've shared. Thank you so much. So at this juncture, we'll see if we have some questions that have not been answered. I noticed that some of the speakers were answering some of the questions live, so there may not be so much to answer at the present time. But let me see if there's still anyone outstanding. Okay. I think most of the questions have now been answered. Somebody asked for Ms. Xiaofeng's email, and it's been provided. And someone else asked about the IEEE Foundation. Michael Darren has already shared the email address. So I think generally questions have already been answered live. But peradventure anyone still has any question, please let us know. We'll forward it to the speakers even after this meeting. Yes, I believe that they would oblige us and answer your questions. So I want to ask each of the speakers to just give us a final closing remark, and then just maybe a closing sentence or something. Then we can round off today. Okay, Professor Longe said, thanks for the men who give their support. All right, so you are free to also say yours by audio if you wish. Any closing sentence, statement before we go? So Ms. Zhang, do you want to start?
Yes, yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Aru. So for organize this excellent webinar on the March 8th, International Women's Day. We celebrate Women's Day, also share our experience in the, women in energy and, the work in the Africa, in China, and globally. So as the woman, we would like, follow the United Nations goal to doing the sustainable project in the world. Okay, I really inspired by the other speakers. Actually, the Xia Li's story. She organized the company is a social, for the community service kind of business and help the Africa. So, and her experience, I would like implement in China, maybe other regions. Okay, thank you for the Xia Li. And the other two speakers was also excellent, for what's the woman in the sustainable development and their experience in the Africa. Okay, thank you again.
Thank you very much. So Professor Longe, do you still have any additional remarks made beyond the one you typed?
I just want to say thank you so much for IEEE Smart Village for celebrating the International Women's Day with all of us. And like I said in the chat, thanks for all the men that are giving us the support. Thanks, Rajan. I see you on the call. And for every other person who is supporting us. Thank you very much.
All right. Doctor?
Yes, just to echo thanks. I think what I've taken out from this is that as women, we can take the experiences that we've gone through and see how we can improve things for the next generation. I think Professor Longe explained in details what she's gone through and how she's trying to inspire the next generation of students. And I've just realized I skipped over a slide talking about healthcare. So I went through an experience myself when my first son was being born. He was 10 weeks premature. I went into labor down here in the Masai Mara. And it was only a helicopter evacuation that saved my son's life and got me to Nairobi to a hospital. So I've taken that experience, and just a week ago today, we've opened the first maternity unit here in the Masai Mara that can provide cesarean sections and have newborn high dependency for babies. Within a week, we've already done the first cesarean yesterday, and we have 2 premature babies in the neonatal high dependency, getting the care that they need now. So I think each of us can take the experiences we've gone through and see how we can pass that on and improve the lives of other women. I think if women work together, we're unbeatable. We need the men as well, but women together we can go a long way.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Miss Li.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. So I make it very brief. I think sometimes to be a social enterprise, a social entrepreneur, I know many people is doubting, is confusing, is hesitating because they feel lonely and they feel it's no supporting. It's really difficult for them to make a business model sustainable. But I want to encourage is, no matter you are social enterprise or you are enterprise, the most important is how to create the value. And I'm here in China. Chinese supply chain is very fruitful. Anybody need help from China resources, and you can contact me anytime. So what I trust is doing something social for good, and also can be profitable, can be sustainable. It's not only benefit yourself from the numbers, how many zero you put in your account, is also inspiring yourself and inspiring your family. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. This meeting has not just been about people talking about their achievements, but they've also been inspiring us to follow their footsteps. We appreciate you. We're really honored, and we will send the certificates for your talks afterward. We appreciate also the president of the IEEE Smart Village, Dr. Rajan Kapoor, who has also supported us and was present in the meeting. Yes, he also attended this event. We appreciate all the excos or executives of the Smart Village as well. We appreciate everyone who has given support. We appreciate all the volunteers who have worked behind the scene to make this event a success. And we look forward to taking this information that we've received on this Women's Day and having more women reproduce this kind of impact within a short time. So thank you so much to all our speakers. We appreciate you, and we really look forward to continuing to partner with you in business. Have a very beautiful day.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Happy Women's Day. Even in China, it's going to be tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Zhang. Thanks for Miss Zhang's invitation.
Yeah, thanks everyone. So we really enjoy today's webinar and hope we can work together, make the world even more sustainable, and for women will be more power in the energy business. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.